It is Saturday night on the European Tour. This is the Lokhalle, filled with 4,000 darts-mad fans. So join us for a great-looking lineup in this great-looking venue with, let's be honest about it, a great-looking crowd. This is the Elton Safety Shoes European Darts Trophy of Göttingen! This is how it's going to play out for you tonight. We are going to start with a repeat of a game for the first Euro Tour of the year. It sees Luke Woodhouse against Gary Anderson. Would he beat the Flying Scotsman with a superb display first time around? Can he repeat the feat? Then we'll move on to Gerwyn Price, an 8-time Euro Tour title winner, up against heavy metal Ryan Searle. Yet to get his hands on one of these, however. He did win 6-0 in his opening game yesterday. Then Dave Chisnell, a man every time he's played in this venue, he has reached the quarter-finals. He goes up against rapid Ricky Evans, who was heroic in his victory against Raymond van Barneveld last night. Mike de Decker, in his own country of Belgium, reached his first Euro Tour final a couple of weeks ago, but he takes on Peter Snakebite Wright, who has played in 20 European Tour finals. Mighty Michael van Gerwen has won this title the last 3 times it has been staged, but he could have his hands full against the exciting young host nation talent in Nico Springer. Big Boris Kritschmar defeated MVG in Belgium. Can he back that up by beating the world #1 Luke Humphries here in Göttingen this evening? We'll find out later. Then it's a clash of 2 national #1s. It's the top player from Wales, Johnny the Ferret Clayton, against Germany's best, Martin Schindler. And to round it all off, it's the European champion, Richie Madhouse Edhouse, taking on the former winner of the match play in the UK Open, the Asp, Nathan Aspinall. It is a stacked card, it is a packed house, and the man to guide you through it is our MC, Philip Brzezinski.
Danke denn und herzlich willkommen, Darts-Familie, zur Winamax European Darts Tour 2025. Das zweite European Tour Event des Jahres, die Elton Safety Shoes European Darts Trophy. Zweitrunden Action, live und präsentiert von der PDC Europe, hier aus der legendären Lokhalle in Göttingen. Und bevor wir durchstarten können in diese Samstagabend-Session, müssen wir noch eine wichtige Frage stellen. Und diese Frage lautet: Göttingen, seid ihr bereit für Darts? Dann kommen hier unsere ersten beiden Spieler des Abends. Wir begrüßen aus England die aktuelle Nummer 32 der Welt. Ein Finalist auf der Pro Tour und ein European Championship Halbfinalist. Hier kommt Luke Woodhouse. Er ist der Gewinner von 54 PDC-Titeln. Ein ehemaliger World Matchplay, Premier League und UK Open Champion. And a 2-time back-to-back champion of the world. It's the Flying Scotsman, Gary Anderson.
Pack it in, let me begin. I came to win, battle me, that's a sin. I won't ever slack
Jahres refereeing teams hier in Göttingen. Großen Applaus für Charlie Kostafin.
Well, welcome along to the Lokala. It is a stacked card with major champions, world champions and national number ones everywhere you look. However, it was a massacre of the seeds in this afternoon session. We only saw Rob Cross and Michael Smith progress. The other 6 were all beaten, falling at the first hurdle as far as they are concerned. If that continues into tonight, we're in record-breaking territory. However, we do have a lot of the biggest names on the way, not least the world number 1, Luke Humphries, and the number 2 seed, 3-time winner of this title, mighty Michael van Gerwen. But you can include Gary Anderson in that. Returning to the European Tour as a winner last year for the first time in a decade. But this year, he has yet to win a game on the Euro Tour because it's his opponent tonight who did for him. In Belgium, Luke Woodhouse produced an astonishing display. So astonishing, he seemed to have stunned himself come the end of the game. Genuinely astonished at how well he played. Can he do it again? He was the geezer in Weezer. But can he come out on top against the Flying Scotsman here in Göttingen? Dan McCarthy alongside me for the opening game of the night.
Well, it was an incredible display of ton-plus checkouts from Woody that really did for Gary Anderson. Ended up averaging a shade over a ton in that game. Definitely a player who's been progressing over the past 12, 18 months or so. Definitely a player who you feel a title might just be around the corner if he can become a little bit more consistent. There's a lot to like about the Luke Woodhouse game. But we know what Gary Anderson can do. The only thing I can say with a fair degree of certainty, if he wins in Göttingen this weekend, I don't think he'll be playing another European Tour event this year.
Yeah, that's kind of what he did last year. When I say kind of, exactly what he did. Won in Sindelfingen and then put his feet up. Didn't see him again on the European circuit until the European Championship, where he only lost to a stunning display from the eventual winner, Richie Edhouse. Anderson was genuinely unbelievable. He wasn't the highest ranked in terms of the standard of darts he was playing, the best player in the floor tournaments last year. And he did pick and choose a bit, but he did manage to pick up his first title on the floor just a few days ago. Is that a sign that things are starting to click? Because he hadn't started all guns blazing at the start of this year.
Still averaging 95.5 in those floor tournaments as Woody eyes up 97. 2 goes at tops. And with the second dart in hand, Luke Woodhouse finishes off the first leg. Nice 15 darter.
16.
Now you wonder how he feels, Luke Woodhouse, because that performance against Gary, I know it was 100 average, it was much higher than that halfway through the game. It was a brilliant display. But he comes into this going, well, I've done it once, but he's probably also thinking, I'm not going to play that well again, am I? He might not need to. But he has started this excellent.
140.
They don't look like they're safety shoes, that's all I'll say.
96. 140.
Gary Anderson's circa 2015.
Ah, the Gary Anderson calendar years.
140.
2015, the first of his 2 World Championships. A real legend of the sport, but could be in a spot of bother here because Luke Woodhouse has left 85 after 9 darts.
Talking about coming out the blocks and hitting your opponent hard. That leaves the bullseye.
60. Gary, you require 103.
Treble 17. And it's just on the wire. I think Gary thought it was in.
47. Luke required 25.
So 25 required for Luke Woodhouse, who He's very casually pouring himself a glass of water. Not going to get the big fish from 25. That's a very, very tiny fish. It's a tadpole, but it works for Woody.
Small fry is good fry. 14 darter, 2-0. Well, Luke Woodhouse, by my reckoning, is now the highest ranked player in the world who is yet to win a senior PDC title. Jan van Veen held that dubious honour. He is just a few quid clear of Jermaine Watermainer, who's also in the same position as Luke Woodhouse.
96.
I tell you what, you watch how he played against Gary in Belgium, you watch how he's playing here, and you think, well, why not? He doesn't need to hold that for very long. This is world-class stuff.
59.
First 180 for Gary Anderson. First you suspect of many. There are times, particularly in those floor tournaments that have been mentioned, where Gary Anderson would go genuinely berserk. At a 123 he got last year against Andrew Gilding.
Well, there's a mad stat floating around, wasn't there, where in terms of 110 plus averages, Gary Anderson had hit twice the number of the next nearest. It wasn't just he was going big, he was going big a lot, and nobody was even close.
134, Gary requiring 95.
Does he get his first dart at double here? May only be one at the ball, and it is. And
70.
that dart does kick over slightly to the left, doesn't it? I'm not sure how
72.
much of that he could see.
Double 12 for 3-0. Straight in from Luke Woodhouse. This is a terrific performance. And if this was a football match, the Luke Woodhouse fans would be chanting, "Can we play you every week, Gary Anderson?"
38.
Well, we do see on the Euro Tour, and you might see even more of it this year with the seedings being even more fixed, these sort of repeat battles. It's weird that this one has come up for the second time in two events, because obviously Woodhouse has come through the first round. It's not like seed number 8 playing seed number 9, but they could be running into each other a lot.
46.
And if that's the case, Luke Woodhouse, well, he might be keeping Gary Anderson in his pocket. Ridiculous as that sounds. Bearing in mind that Luke Woodhouse, he says Gary Anderson is his hero in this game.
180 darts? Yes. There's 2 apiece in that particular metric.
Well, it's great for Gary, but the problem is that 180 only gets him about level, and Luke Woodhouse has already stolen the darts. Look at him go. There is no let up here. Well, that helps. Maybe. Does it? Might be utterly irrelevant.
Double 12. Just hit this in the previous leg. That was some way north.
Gary required 57.
He needed back-to-back 180s to get himself this chance, Gary Anderson. He's got a chance. That's no help.
37.
And he cannot find tops, and it might be happening again. This is for 4-0.
Double 6.
12. Gary required 20.
Missed opportunity. Now it is against the darts, and Gary Anderson does register a leg. But that's a missed opportunity for Luke Woodhouse. For a double break of throw to go 4-0 up, you're then throwing for 5-0. You get that, and then you put your opponent in a near impossible position.
Yeah, and that might be the difference between what happened in Weasel, where we won 6-2 against Gary, and whatever happens here tonight. Because he did not take his foot off the gas, Luke Woodhouse, until he was very nearly home and hosed.
140. Winner
of this one to face, the winner of the penultimate game of the night, Johnny Clayton or Martin Schindler.
140.
He's just giving himself a moment. He's had a couple of flyers.
60.
And what was happening automatically earlier is just taking a little bit more effort.
58.
That probably doesn't come back to haunt him. But it could. He needed a perfect scoring visit to get to a finish to potentially exploit Gary Anderson's innumerate leave there.
123.
We won't know whether it was a genuine miscount or just a conscious effort thinking that Woodhouse is not going to take 3, 2, 5 and 6. And Gary Anderson, you've just been proven correct.
100. Gary required 40. Game shot the fifth player.
13 darter, break of throw. This game feels very different now, doesn't it?
Game on.
Anderson on a bit of a charge. Well, if it's going to be like this all night, we are in for a special night of darts. That's the first dart he's after.
140. 80. 91.
Well, Woodhouse is in a good position. Double chance finish. That's a slip.
85.
Needed to rescue it with the last treble. He did do so. But in this range, 130 is definitely one of the more makeable shots.
Got a bit less makeable, hasn't it, after that one? Yeah, couldn't sneak his way through.
65.
Halves his score.
136. 56. Luke requires 65.
Again, curious use of the board from Gary Anderson there, but can't stop Woodhouse getting a shot.
55. Gary require 80.
Double five.
70. Luke required 10.
Well, Luke Woodhouse, his finishing was incredible when he beat Gary Anderson in Weezer. His finishing is only 25% in this game, and yet he could still be 4-2 up. Try and forget about that one. And that one brings his hopes to an end in the visits.
Well, he threw that last dart away in frustration. He very nearly missed the board. Doesn't matter. Gary Anderson has won 3 legs in a row. Luke Woodhouse nearly pummeling his own darts, thinking better of it.
Well, if you're going to go on the premise that the player who's first to a double deserves the leg, Luke Woodhouse should probably be 5-1 up here.
100.
But it was 4-2 perhaps. I know Gary Anderson did get the first dart at double in that third leg. But he really has thrown a couple of legs away, Luke Woodhouse, in this game. And you can't really afford to give Gary Anderson gifts.
123. 57. 58.
138, the probable target. Yeah, two lovely darts. Single 18, leaves double top.
38.
Now, he's had some particularly scruffy efforts at doubles in the last few legs. Is he going to be put under much pressure?
100.
Oh, he somehow threaded that last dart through to leave Shanghai. But Luke Woodhouse, to end this mini drought, double 10. He keeps missing chances presented to him.
By my reckoning, he has missed his last 12 darts at double at Woodhouse. This could be done. Oh, what a dart. Double top. Gary Anderson leads this game. Because while Luke Woodhouse just cannot hit a double at the minute, Gary Anderson is starting to find things. And it was a little cheeky raise of the eyebrows earlier. Now, the weight of the world is on Woody's shoulders.
91.
There you can see 18% on doubles compared to Gary's 44. Quite clinical, really, from the Flying
97.
Scotsman. Relative terms.
Beautiful second dart from Gary Anderson.
93. 96. 100. 58.
He's done it plenty of times in this game. Does it all the time, Luke Woodhouse, just changing up the rhythm. Sound like a broken record in mentioning it. And look, maybe it has no difference in the outcome because he was hitting a lot at the start of the match. He's missing a bit more in this stage of the match.
Should go for the 19s.
80.
First to a finish against the darts, but feels academic. Anderson can pile in another big treble.
99.
Can't, but it's still a two-darter.
70.
Did he take out a 170 against Gary in reason?
I think you're right.
Lightning's not going to strike twice. And in a minute, it really looked like it was
88.
when Luke Woodhouse raced into a 3-0 lead. But Gary Anderson has turned this around. He has needed some help from Woodhouse, but Gary Anderson is now streaking away with this.
Gets Luke to throw first. Game on.
The stresses are high on the European Tour stage for Woodhouse. How quickly things can change after the first three legs. He must have been feeling 10 foot tall. There you can see he just shuts his eyes, hoping it's all a dream. It's not a dream, it's a nightmare. And Gary Anderson is starting to rub salt in the wounds.
Gary Anderson might win this title tomorrow night, and he might go and average 110 for the rest of the tournament.
60.
And you'll look back and it will say, oh, Gary Anderson 6, Luke Woodhouse 3, high 90s average. And it will not tell the story of this game because he has been let off the hook.
96.
Luke Woodhouse started brilliantly. If he'd just been okay on his doubles after that start, he'd have won this game.
44.
This would be a really tough one to take.
Some quality darts from Anderson when it's looked like there've been blockers. Had to move further across the hockey.
121. Gary Mackay, 40.
Can he produce the 120 again? Bypassing a first block of darts? Well, he bypassed it. He didn't bypass it into the treble 20. Well, I thought conservative effort at tops to leave tops, but as it is, it'll be 20 for tops.
Gary requires 60.
For a first European Tour win of 2025. For a first since his title-winning Sindelfingen.
40.
Match darts have gone.
Luke requires 76.
This to keep Luke Woodhouse's hopes alive. It's gone from being likely to very slim, his chances of winning.
Well, when you've missed your last dozen darts at double, how confident are you of pinning the double with one in hand? Oh, he doesn't even get that. That is so in the middle of the 8. It's nowhere near the 16. And maybe he was thinking about the double.
44. Gary required 20.
He started like a lion and he has ended like a shrew, Luke Woodhouse. But he's not out of it yet. He is not out of this just yet.
Luke required 32.
Gary Anderson offering a fan the chance to take the double for him. I think that's in the rules and regulations.
Game shot the 9th.
Luke Woodhouse ends what has been a very long drought in the context of this game. 5 consecutive legs. Maybe the fans' intervention would have helped.
83.
Let's show you the legs with darts at double in this game, because it tells the story. Look at that. Brilliant, the first 3 legs for Luke Woodhouse. Missed 5 in leg 4, then 4 in leg 6, another 3 the following leg. But it's Gary Anderson who's just missed 5 for the match. Is there a twist in this?
140.
Woodhouse can snaffle this leg away. He would have to throw in the deciding leg.
99.
That doesn't seem likely, though. 180, number 5 for Anderson.
58.
No resistance from Luke Woodhouse.
98.
His counting wasn't wrong there, was it?
74.
Yeah. 98 minus 1. Leaves that double 12. He's won some serious stuff on double 12, Gary Anderson.
57.
Can he bring this strange old game to a close? Yes, he can. Gary Anderson picks up his first win on the Euro Tour this year. Luke Woodhouse started brilliantly, and it all fell apart. Even then, it looked like he might be able to push it all the way. But Anderson gets a bit of revenge for his defeat to Woody and Weiser, and he is through to the final day.